Yes. I'm recording.
All right. Okay, so who's hosting, you or I?
You are. I just got the stuff ready for you, hon.
This is the City of East Cleveland Finance Committee meeting on Tuesday, December 15, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. Excuse me, being hosted on Zoom. Council President, you want to call the meeting to order?
The City of East Cleveland Finance Committee meeting is called to order at 5:30 p.m. Clerk, can you call the roll?
Councilor Stevenson,
Present.
Councilor Gowdy,
Present.
Councilor Martin,
Present.
Counselor Smith is part of your committee, but he's not online.
Councilor Austin is not part of the committee.
No, Mr. Smith is.
We have a November 2020 financial report.
This committee, I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over the financials right in through here because we have other pressing business. The financial reports are online, can be accessed through the city's website. And if people want a copy, they can, I believe, download those reports and print them out. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time in that arena.
Okay, next.
Can you, since we're not going to do that, we can go ahead and move forward with the legislation.
Okay, next we have legislation. Resolution 47-20, a resolution authorizing the mayor to accept from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, on behalf of the City of East Cleveland and assistance to firefighters grant AFG in the amount of $1,238,095.24, which includes a 5% match of $61,904.76, and to appropriate such funds to purchase a 100-foot ladder truck with pumping capacity for the fire department and declaring an emergency for the public safety, health, and welfare. This is requested by the fire chief and sponsored by Corrine Stevenson, President.
Tracy, did you get a hold of somebody at the fire department?
No, but we do have Mayor King on here. Miss Emmons is in, and so is Mr. Iham.
Okay. Mayor King, I don't know about you, but it seems to me that 4720 has come before us before. And so I'm kind of at a loss, and we need to find that original legislation. I thought we had did this already. So maybe you or Charles can answer. I thought it was done already.
Can I ask a question?
Well, I'm trying to get the mayor to respond.
All right. Because I'm looking at resolution 47. Well, when we get there, I'm looking at 4720 sponsored by you. Then I'm looking at it again, and it says sponsored by Council of the Whole. So that's my clarification.
It seems to me that 4720 shouldn't be here because I believe we've already done this.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mayor King.
I'm sorry, I missed the question. I was having some challenge in getting this thing situated.
My question,
Martin.
Yeah, go ahead.
The question is, haven't we done this already, 4720? I thought we accepted this thing several months ago. And so I had dispatched the deputy to try and contact the fire chief because it just seems like to me we've done this already. So I just want to clarification.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we've passed this already or not. However, if we've passed it and we pass it again, there's no harm, no foul in passing it again. One of them will get executed and the other one will not get executed. So there's no fear in passing it again if in fact it has already been passed, which I'm not sure that it has.
Okay, so we're gonna do some checking before we I mean, we can move this, I guess, Miss Gowdy, but I think we need to check and make sure that this wasn't already done.
Yeah, so there's no harm, no foul in passing it twice, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, we could check and check, we can triple check. Now, it's not gonna matter. If it's not done, it still needs to be done. You know, again, it's council's prerogative and what you do. And my suggestion would be that you, or my preference would be that you just pass it. And if it's already been passed and we can find that legislation, then it's no problem. We'll X one of them out. There won't be two ladder trucks because there's only one grant to pay for one truck.
Okay, that's fine. Martin, go ahead.
Okay, is just a couple of clarifications, Madam Chairman and the Mayor. The 61,904.76 is our 5%. Where is that coming from, Mayor?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So that money's coming out of the general fund.
Out of the general fund?
Yes, it's coming out of the general fund.
Okay, and we're getting 1 foot ladder truck with this, and the FEMA money, the 1,238,095.24. That's from FEMA.
Yes, that's from FEMA. I apologize, I can't get my video to work, but yes, that will be from FEMA.
Okay, well, at this point, I perused through it quickly. I didn't read it as thoroughly as I should, but at this point, Madam Chairman, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of your finance committee, as far as me being on, I'm all right with this. Okay, and if you move it forward to the next council meeting, do we need to have this done before the end of the year?
I
Because
would like
it's an
to have this
emergency.
done by the end of the year. I would also like to have all of the appropriations done, because what happens is we then have to encumber all of the money to then pay for this truck. Because it's not a grant that they give us the money, it's reimbursable, which means we have to put the money up and then get it back.
Okay, that was major. That is, I know we need it, and it's a whole lot of here. I was reading all these articles earlier today. Anything that, Mayor, that we need to know, that the council needs to know at this point, that's not in here. Anything that's important, anything germane to us acting on this when we have our council meeting.
Yes. So,
Okay.
and I'm glad you asked that, because I know you will definitely appreciate it.
Okay.
This ladder truck is critical to what the fire department does. If you remember a couple of years ago, the former council president house burnt down because we did not have a ladder truck. We had to buy a used one from, I believe we got it from Virginia, West Virginia, and it was used. So it is basically, it was at its end of its useful life when we got it. We were able to revive it for a couple of years. We have to plan for the future. We simply have to get a ladder truck to address second story fires.
Okay. And it says,
You remember with that, Councilman Martin, that
yeah,
South Euclid,
mm-hmm,
no, I think Cleveland Heights was the only city that would give us the mutual aid. The rest of them had stopped coming. It was like, well, you guys don't have a ladder truck. We're not coming down there.
oh, okay.
All right, are you done, Mr. Martin?
I had a,
Madam
'Cause
President,
I don't want to spend,
can you articulate for me when it says with pumping capacity? Just elaborate on that real quickly. I won't hold nothing up. Mayor,
I'm sorry, what was that question?
the pumping capacity, elaborate on that.
Oh, the pumper capacity?
Yeah.
That just speaks to the amount of liquid it can hold and the capacity at which it can shoot it out.
Okay. Otherwise, I'm okay. Just a question.
Mr. Martin, you don't have a vote on this.
I know, but I can ask a couple of questions. Can I?
But
I
that's
mean,
what I'm trying to get to. Are you done so we can move forward?
I think I am. Let's see. Okay. All right.
Ms. Gowdy?
We definitely need a ladder truck, and if we didn't do it the first time, this would be good for us, but we'll look into it, so.
It is my pleasure to move this item forward to agenda review. What is your pleasure, Ms. Gowdy?
Thank you. I think we definitely need to move it forward.
Thank you. Clerk, can you go to the next piece of legislation?
Next legislation is ordinance number 49-20. An ordinance to amend ordinance number 26-20, which makes appropriations in various funds for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of East Cleveland and for the period between January 1st, 2020 and December 31st, 2020, and declaring an emergency in order to assure funding for police and fire services. This is requested by Finance Director Charles Iahen and sponsored by Corinne Stevenson, President.
Charles, Director, do you want to speak to this issue?
Yes, and actually, I looked at, I apologize, I just now looked at this agenda and scrolled through, and unfortunately, the exhibit that is in this document is not correct. And I did forward just email. I wasn't sure who to give it to. Tracy set up this meeting, so I sent it to her. I'm not sure if she's present or not, but I wanted the council to see the correct exhibit for these appropriations. And obviously we talked about this. Hopefully she'll get it to you. I can email if I need to. The gist of this appropriations is mainly us city appropriating the remaining CARES Act dollars that we received after the last amendment appropriations, which happened in August. And so we want to appropriate those dollars so we can use those dollars before the year end. And just shoring up other transactions. When I say that, mainly like the tree services, we have more tree services than I was anticipated. So putting more appropriations in the tree service and the police and fire and EMS salvage and fringe benefits. We're using the CARES Act dollars to reduce the police and fire EMS salaries and fringe benefits in the general fund. And we're charging those dollars to the CARES Act dollars, which lowers the general fund's appropriations by year end. So the general fund doesn't have to spend as much money. So that is the bulk, the core of these reappropriations. But again, I sent Tracy just a few moments ago the correct exhibit. Hopefully she'll get it to you momentarily. If not, I can easily email the counselors that ordinance.
There any questions about this?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Austin.
Great, thank you. As we prepare these final appropriations, does it reflect the transitions between the individual funds? Or is it just the big moves, like these are dollars came in and this is what we like to do with them?
So these appropriations include making advances in transfers, which is a different ordinance, which is the next one that we'll be discussing. So other funds do not go into a deficit by year end. And so advances mean, well, the general fund would just be advancing a lot of, some of these funds are grant funds and it's a timing issue. And what I mean by that is we expense the money, we know we're gonna get it back, but by the time we get it back, the year may be over. And so we want to make sure we're just gonna put advance money from the general fund till we get that money back, till we able to request the money back from the particular grant. And then that money's gonna go back into the general fund. And then some other funds like the street fund, it mainly needs transfers, and we've been doing transfers to the street fund for maybe 5-6 years now, because the street fund, the activity goes in, and that's Antonio, the service guys, and all that they do. There's not enough money that comes in from the gas tax, which goes to the street fund, to take care of all the operations they need to do, as we ask the service department do a lot of different things. And so the general fund for the last, like I said, 4 or 5 years has been transferring money from the general fund to shore up that fund so that doesn't go into a deficit at year end as well.
Great, thank you. I also like to co-sponsor this legislation once it comes out of committee.
Charles,
Yes.
I guess, and the mayor, I have expressed to you all, and Willie Hemmings is online. I have a concern here. My concern is, how do we appropriate money that the council never accepted? I mean, you gotta first accept the money before you can spend it, and I'm not seeing the legislation follow that protocol. So where are we at with that?
So Counselor,
Let me jump in on that.
okay.
So, I'm still trying to get this video sorted out. So we've explained to council, and I know we've explained it to you personally, Council President, at least 2 or 3 times. Back in August, when City Council accepted CARES Act funding, all you had to do was accept it once. Any funding that comes in after that is already deemed accepted through City Council. I'm sure many of you have heard that the government is working on another stimulus package. When that package is approved, by the time it gets to the local municipal level, East Cleveland, it will more than likely not have to come back in front of you, because per the rules of this funding, the one acceptance accepts all of the funding. Charles, you can explain, please, the email that you received today confirming that.
Mayor, forget the rules.
Please let
Go
Charles
by the
explain.
laws.
Please let Charles
Go
explain.
by the law. And every
So-
time when money come in, it's supposed to come through council to be approved and how much gonna be spent.
Did
Council,
somebody
you
say
don't know
forget
if
the
you're talking
rule?
about- Don't talk.
Charles,
Okay, I wasn't sure. Gotta catch it when the moment's right. So the Ohio Office of Budget and Management, who is overseeing all the entities in Ohio, the government entities with these CARES Act dollars, they had emailed me about the resolution, whether we had the resolution accepting and be able to spend the CARES Act dollars. And I forwarded them the resolution that council had passed in June of this year. And they responded and said, everything is okay.
the council needs to see that communication so that we can put this to bed once and for all. Ms. Gowdy, what's your pleasure with this legislation?
I think that we need to keep it here until we get more evidence of what's going on, because the rules is one thing, the law was another. You still got to come in front of the council, no matter what, and we did not approve that.
Okay.
Now, President, if you want to move it to the agenda, you can, but
We can move, well, here's the deal. This is what we do. Charles says he got evidence from OBM. So we'll move it to agenda review. Charles can provide us his evidence and then we can put this to bed. Does
Okay.
that work for
yes,
everyone?
Madam President, that sounds great.
Council President, that sounds like a great compromise. If you don't get the documents, you can act accordingly. We have the documents, we'll get them to you.
All right, cool. So clerk, can we move
Ordinance
The-
number, ordinance,
4920 to agenda review?
okay.
Nate is trying to say something.
Where is he? He got lost.
He's on mute.
Well, he got to unmute
He
himself. Nate Martin,
he accidentally muted himself.
we can't hear you.
Hit the button, mute.
I hit it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead.
Okay, what I needed to know, okay, is the Office of Budget and Management is that's from the state of Ohio, right? Where the CARES funds come through?
That's the county.
That's the county? Okay, what I'm looking at, my question, if you guys can hear me, is I'm looking at the police, where it says increase or decrease in the salaries, where police is 1,389,301, and then the fire is 1,723,780.83. I'm trying to get an understanding. So when we vote on this, I'm just trying to get an understanding and clarification is in terms of how much money do we get in terms of the police, and how much money do we get in terms of the fire from the CARES Act? So I know what I'm voting on. How how much went through the fire for salaries and how much went to the police for salaries? That's my question.
Well, I think that question can be answered, Mr. Martin, if you look at that report that where they reported out how much, and
I'm
it's kind of mixed up between police and fire when you
right.
look at it.
Is
Well-
Charles around?
That's why, Madam Chairman, I'm not trying to be difficult. That's why Charles is here, so he can break it down. So I understand, so I know when
Charles.
I'm not against it. Well, I just need clarification. That's why Charles is here. Let him answer it, please.
Charles,
I'm here. I can't talk. I don't talk when other people are talking. But yeah, I'm here.
Okay, did you hear my question, Charles?
Yes, I believe you asked how much went towards the.
Yeah, from the CARES Act funding, how much went for salaries with the police, the amount, and how much went for the fire, the amount? That way I have more of an understanding, so I know what I'm voting on. That's all I'm asking. It's a simple, basic question.
Yes, I'm not saying not. So,
Okay.
Counselor,
Yes,
all you really need to do is look at the decrease.
I'm looking at let's look at police, where it says decrease. I see 1,389,301.03. Okay, explain that, and then we go to fire, where it's 1,723,780.83. So I get so I have an understanding of what I'm voting on when we vote on it at the appropriate time. Explain that to me, so I have an understanding. I'm ignorant about some of this, please.
So, Counselor, what I'm saying is the amount that was allocated to the police and the amount that's allocated to the fire for salaries and fringe benefits is the reduction amount you see in the change column.
Okay, where that's in the parentheses here?
Yes.
Okay, so how would I be able to understand in terms of the police, and how would be able to in terms of the difference between police and the difference between fire in terms of numbers? Okay, because I don't understand this at this point.
So, Counselor, again,
4 times.
the salaries that for CARES Act that went towards the police department is the number in parentheses, the $1 million amount in the salaries in the police department. That amount went towards the police department.
Okay.
For the fire.
Okay, so my last question, and then I'll get she can move on, is in total, how much went for the fire and the police? How much CARES money in total did it go for both of them? And we add it up, how much does it come to?
Where's the guy added up? Let me see.
Yeah.
That's how much this thing should do. Put down. Down payment.
Councilman Martin, you want to borrow my calculator?
So-
No, you use it.
that's right.
Counselor, so $1.7 million between the two departments in the general fund went towards the CARES Act dollars between the two departments. All I did was added the decreased amount of salaries and fringe benefits in the police and salaries and fringe benefits and fire.
This year so far, they spent 2.2.
So you're saying a 1.7 million for police and fire,
now.
and including benefits too, Charles?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
More
so in essence, at this point, CARES money has come to the city for our police and our fire is a total of 1.7 million? Is that what you're saying?
So,
Or-
Councilor Murray, don't,
Okay,
the CARES Act
Don't-
money did not come into the city and said you had to distinguish, here it goes, here's money for the police, here's money for the fire. Don't think of it like that.
okay. But what you're saying, the amount that went for the police and the amount that went for the fire, besides other spending, is 1.7 million.
And that, and let me be clear about that. That is
Okay,
the second wave of money that we got. So we had the first wave of $2.2 million.
okay.
We already did a reappropriation for those CARES Act dollars.
And did we spend the 2.2 million for?
We charged most of it to the police and fire when we did
Okay.
the appropriations in August.
Okay, so this 1.7 million is another
Yeah.
allocation?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, now I have more of an understanding. Okay, now with that,
We approved this to come
oh,
in. We don't
okay,
know how to use
I'm not quit with that.
how to spend it.
All the CARES money, Charles and Mayor Brandon King, all that has to be spent before the end. Today is the 15th. Has to be spent by the end of this month. Is that correct? Is that not?
That's correct.
Okay, so my last question, and I'll let it go. How much do we have left of CARES money, CARES Act money, to be spent in the next 15 days?
So this reappropriation is committing every dollar that's left to be spent.
Okay, so
in essence, there will be no money left over to spend.
so we will spend all of this money in the next 15 days.
That is the goal.
Okay, now if we don't spend it, I heard you say goal, and words are important. If we don't spend it, what happens?
You have to send the money. Whatever you don't spend, you have to send back.
Okay, I'm all right now. All right.
But the fact that we're not using all the money towards salaries and fringe benefits, but the bulk of it we are, so that truly helps us to spend all this money in time.
But we still
Okay.
need city council to act because we still have some other expenditures we need done by the end of the year in order to be in compliance and not send this money back. Any of them.
Correct.
I have a question. We accepted the money, but who give the right to prove where the money goes? You know, because you got to prove it to council all the time, how the money being spent. And I know the CARES Act money did not come for us, how it being spent. So who approved spending the money and where it should go?
So Council Vice President, you approved just what you're asking. If you would like me to print out the rules, procedures of what the money, CARES Act money could be spent on, I can print that out and give that to you. You should have already seen it, but the CARES Act money was very particular on how and what you could spend it on. When you approved it, you approved just that.
Shouldn't large amounts should be approved through council. Some things that have to come through council, really, I feel like we have to really think about what we actually are saying. We proved to get the money, but we didn't prove to spend them, tell you to spend the money. So who proved to spend the money?
So,
where it should go?
Councilwoman, there are maybe 2, 3, 4 pieces of legislation that do need to come in front of city council to pass. And we are preparing those to get those to you. So you will have those here shortly. In the next couple of days, you should have those. And they are some big ticket items, yes.
What is it? Tell us.
So one is a tow motor. One is a tow motor for the service department, and then the other one has to do with CDBG CV and the bid that they put out. So that, I know that the building and housing was still finalizing the results of the big bid that they did. to then make the awards, and the awards, yes, have to come in front of you, and yes, they will come in front of you.
And well, while we're on that, Mayor, the fiscal commission, if we pass this in the next 3 or 4 days, does this satisfy what the fiscal commission is asking of you from the last time you met with them?
So it satisfies part of it.
All right.
And the part of it is the 2020 reappropriations, the 2021 permanent appropriations. After you pass those, me and my team will go back to work, readjusting the 5-year forecast so that we can get that to the fiscal commission. I'm sorry, first we have to get it back to you. You pass it, and then we take it to the fiscal commission, and that is due, if I'm not mistaken, mid-January, that is due. But we need these two pieces first.
Okay, if we need these two pieces first, and my understanding was what I read a few days ago and your meeting with the fiscal commission and the president, that they needed something by the 17th. So it don't look like we're going to get there. Is it possible for us to get an extension? Where are you at with that, Mayor King?
So there, as far as I know, we're still meeting with the fiscal commission on the 17th. They wanted the reappropriations for 20, and they wanted the permanent appropriations for 21. We'll have to see what type of move that they're in come this Thursday. I do know the critical piece is the piece for January, which is dependent on these two.
So,
and they won't have mercy come January. That I do know, because the last time this happened, they didn't.
But
and they took us back to 85%.
Okay, so so we don't get to the 85% thing. What is it that has to be done? Not for the January, but to get through the end, to get to what they're asking of you, Brandon. That's my question. What do we have to do? Since we know it look like we're not going to make the 17th, what has to be done so that we get it done before the end of the year, before we deal with the other part in January of next year?
The 2020 reappropriations is the first thing that needs to be passed. The 2020 reappropriation, right? Then the 2021 needs to be passed before January 1st. I've had conversations with the department heads to kind of prod, if you will, the city council as to the importance of passing the 2021 permanent appropriations and the risk of having a government shutdown. I'm sure all of you remember years ago when the federal government was shut down, employees weren't getting paid, people walked off jobs. It's an ugly situation here in a community that employees are already underpaid. So then to not give them anything is just, we don't want to go down that road. So I would urge council to please get those passed. 2020 reappropriations, 2021 permanent appropriations.
I can see I could see 2020 appropriation being passed, but the mayor estimate, that's going to definitely need a lot of work to it.
Can we
even if we have to,
can we, Ms. Gowdy, I hate to interrupt you, but we done beat this little horse to death. So can we, I think that we made a decision that Charles gonna give us the information for 4920. Is that where we're at? Yeah. And
okay,
we're gonna move it to agenda review based upon Charles giving us the additional information.
Okay, Madam Chairman of Finance, then my question is, when are you planning on voting on this then? if it's going to agenda review, when are we planning to vote?
You
on-
have,
Definitely need to be in
I
here
sent
tomorrow.
last week, I sent out the meeting notices for when this whole thing is gonna be voted on.
Well,
All of
I'm
those
asking-
dates were sent in
Okay.
an
It looked
email.
like we have to vote on this tomorrow, y'all.
No, we're not voting on it tomorrow. We're not having a meeting tomorrow.
So that's my question,
Thursday.
Madam Finance Director, when? Then we can move on. I don't want to hold up what we're doing. When are we planning on voting on it? That's my question.
At the next meeting. At the next regular council meeting.
And that would be the third Tuesday. That would be next Tuesday?
Yep,
No,
approximately.
actually, today is
I
the
can
third
come in
Tuesday.
tomorrow if you want me to. I don't mind. Madam
I'll-
President.
No, the
Madam
meetings
President-
are already, the dates were sent to you all in an email, and I
Yeah.
believe the date is December 29th.
Okay.
December 29th?
Yes, sir.
Okay, but what about what the fiscal commission is asking of us?
There's Mr. Martin, based on the information that I have,
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
so we're gonna vote it on December 29th.
Yes, sir.
All
So
right.
if it will appease, thank you for that, councilors. If it would appease city council, if you had agenda review this Thursday and then
I
had
cannot
a
do that.
council meeting next Tuesday, I'm pretty sure I could talk to the fiscal commission and ask them to come back, because these meetings are just via Zoom. So you can be in your house, in your bedroom, in the kitchen. You don't have to be on site. I'm pretty sure that they would agree to meet via Zoom before the end of the year. They would agree to meet next week so that the city continues to function and continues to operate, and that employees continue to get paid and we stay in compliance.
I would add,
Unfortunately, Mr. Martin and Mayor King,
okay,
I tried to do this. I tried to do this earlier. It did
All
not
right.
work out. I have plans that I have to institute
We got enough council left.
immediately. So the schedule that we have is a schedule that we're going to have to keep, because I cannot do anything else at this
We don't
time.
need you to be president. We got enough council left, but I just want to say, I want to sponsor that legislation. Thank you.
well, you,
Also co-sponsor.
Madam President, you can delegate it to the vice president. I'll come in on a Friday.
At this
I'll
time,
come in,
Mr.
I'm
Martin,
thinking-
like I said, I do not have all of the information.
Okay,
I
that's a
need
great
some more
idea if you delegate
information.
it.
And when I get it, then I'll move appropriately. Thank you.
well, Madam President, what are you missing? So that I understand
Mr.
why.
Martin, you have a document in your possession. That document outlines that. I'm not
Okay.
gonna sit here and reiterate everything that I have spent all of my time putting together. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move the meeting to the next ordinance and let the deputy read, or let the clerk read the agenda ordinance.
So before you move that, Madam President, my understanding is our next meeting is the 29th. Is that correct? So I'm making a note.
There's a series of meetings next week, Mr. Martin, that you should have gotten an email about.
Right, but we also got budget hearings tomorrow, right?
Mr. Martin, that's just how it is. I
Okay,
tried to
well,
do it
all right.
earlier. It did not work. Nothing I can do about it at this time.
Get
All right.
over it. Let's
Well,
move forward
I'm
in a way that
trying
benefits
I'm
the city.
trying to
Period.
make it so that we,
Can we move forward?
yeah,
Clark?
but we need to work together. Okay,
We
we
are
don't
working
need,
agree.
we got
together.
flexibility here.
We are
We have to
working
be
together, and
flexible.
you're dominating my meeting with something that's already been worked out.
That's only one vote. We need to make sure we get a
Behave
consensus on
yourself,
what's best
Nate.
for the
Let's
city.
move it.
We've moved this item to agenda review with the consideration that we get additional information. Clerk, please read the next ordinance.
So the next agenda review is Thursday?
Mr. Martin, you need to refer to your documents. I am not your personal secretary. I'm not here to remember every day. You have all the information that I have, that Ms. Gowdy has, that everybody has.
Okay, we have to be flexible, Corrine Stevenson.
I am being flexible.
All right.
Please stop dominating my meeting and let us move forward.
Go ahead, go on.
Ordinance 51-20, an ordinance authorizing the Director of Finance to make advances from the general fund to various other funds per state auditors in the city of East Cleveland, state of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2020, and declaring an emergency. This is requested by the Finance Department, and it's sponsored by Corinne Stevenson, President.
Charles, are you still here?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Charles, this one's on you. I don't know what this is.
It's basically what I was explaining to Counselor Austin maybe about 15 minutes ago about transferring. I'm required that if we transfer funds from the general fund to other funds, the council approves that transfer and advances. And so this is built into the appropriations we're talking about in 2021, but it's required to have a separate piece of legislation to make those advances and transfers. So same document, the transfers, advances and transfers, they have their own section. And so just a piece of legislation that's needed to do those transfers. And as I mentioned, the transfers consist of advances to CDBG, to the VOCA, this domestic violence grant, to the home program, to two of the COPS grants. And that's just because I don't see us getting a reimbursement for those grants by year end. And so to avoid those grants having a negative balance by year end, there's funds available in the general fund to supplement those negative funds so they can be zero, not negative, but zero by the end of the year. Those are advances. The transfers means the money is not coming back to the general fund. For example, the street fund. When we make a transfer to the street fund, that money stays in the street fund. It's not coming back to the general fund. So we've been doing transfer to the street fund for multiple years. Also, a transfer has been going on for many years. The bond retirement. We have a loan with OPWC that goes out to 20 years and maybe in the 15th year now. And every year we transfer money from the general fund to the bond retirement fund to pay for that loan for some street work that was done years ago. When I say years, maybe I think 2011, 2012. So those funds are highlighted on the documentation. Again, the exhibit that is on this agenda is incorrect. I sent it to Tracy. Just thinking, I wasn't sure who was running this meeting, but hopefully she can, when she check her email, she can send you the correct exhibit for the advances in transfer.
Ms. Gal, do you have any questions about this item?
Well, if he said the exhibit is wrong, how can we move it?
Yeah,
We could move it, and we could move it with the corrected document once. I mean, we could do it the same way we did the other one. When we receive the corrected information, because it's only going to agenda review. We don't receive the corrected information, then it just sits in agenda review.
And Tracy,
Mayor King, why are you holding up papers? We can't see that.
So I just wanted to show you that you're absolutely right. Councilman Martin, the council president is right. Here's the document that was referred to earlier. I just printed it out. Charles will make this available to you. And I know, Councilman Martin, you want it printed, so I'll make a copy for you. But this is from the Office of Budget and Management, which is the state, and it's just referencing the county so that you know the county is satisfied and the state is satisfied with the legislation that was passed. So all this will clean up our paperwork here.
All right,
Mayor,
thanks.
if that's a special document and we can see it and you can prove it, then
It's
we
an
can have-
email, and that the finance director spoke about it earlier. He's gonna send it to you. I printed this out for my good fraternity brother, Councilman Martin.
We
Thank
can
you.
have an emergency meeting right now.
I already emailed it to you, all the counselors.
Thank you. I wanted to, if I can, Madam Chairman, just one question. I'm not gonna hold it up. Anything in these balance transfers between CBG, VOCA, Home Program, COPS Grant, bond retirement, street fund, anything that stands out that we need to know from your perspective as the finance director, Charles?
No, nothing stands out. These are routine advances and transfers. Again, this is to help with our audit and also to help us with the fiscal emergency. One of the accounting methods recommendations that you will hear this Thursday from Tish, one of the recommendations is for the city to make advances and transfers so none of the funds go into a deficit and had negatives. So this is meeting that recommendation, and as they don't want the city to have funds, even grant funds, that we know we're gonna get the money back. They say, why don't you use the cash that you have in your general fund to supplement for a short time period those funds so they won't show negative, and then when you get the money back, when you get reimbursed, you put the money back in the general fund. It's a common practice. Many cities do it throughout the year. If you go to any other our neighboring cities and look at their legislation, you'll see it.
Okay, Madam Chairman, I'm through.
All right, Ms. Gowdy, are we gonna move this forward with the amended information? Ms. Gowdy,
Madam President, my computer is acting up here, but if we have all the evidence, we can move forward. We can hold an emergency meeting right now. Because we do not want our residents to be mad at us because
Ms.
Thursday is
Gowdy,
the deadline.
Ms. Gowdy, Ms. Gowdy. This is the finance committee meeting.
Thursday is
We're
the
trying to
deadline.
get things out of this finance committee so that we can get them to the agenda. That is our first order of business. So we need to make up our mind. I'm for moving this forward with the amended information.
Okay. I'm available
Okay.
tomorrow if you need me.
All right.
Me
So
too.
with that said, clerk,
Are there any remarks from the public? Limit 2 minutes.
Good evening, everyone.
good evening, Mr. Severa.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Okay, I had one question regarding the ladder truck. Does the expense of the grant cover the purchase price as well as any maintenance expense necessary to bring the ladder truck into service?
That's a question I guess we would have to ask the police chief, the fire chief. And what we will do is,
The mayor might know. Ask him. Hello?
I heard a part of the question. Can I share some of the information I recall and I took my notes? There was a minor match We put the money up and they do reimburse it, but it's a brand new system that we're receiving. So it's not a used system, it's a brand new system. So more to follow on the duration for the maintenance and or the type of warranty that will come with the system. I'm sure that it's going to be a part of the packet once it's approved. So more to follow, but it is a match and it is a reimbursement. 61,000 is what we put up, and then the $1 million is what we pay up front. Then we get that portion minus the 61,000 back as a reimbursement. And it comes out of general fund.
Mayor King, do you have an
Yeah.
answer to Mr. Severa's question?
Council President, if you don't mind, could you repeat that? I did not hear his question.
Mr.
My-
Severa, can you repeat your question, please?
Yeah, my question is, does the FEMA grant cover the purchase price of the vehicle plus any maintenance expense necessary to bring the ladder truck into service?
So Council President, I'm not sure as to the clarity as to what he means. So
Mr. Severa,
let me
are
say
you
this.
referring to the oils and all of those kinds of things that are
Yeah,
required? to put a
everything
new
that's involved in
vehicle?
the maintenance of a vehicle.
Right.
You
He's
have to-
talking about oil, and those things that are not in this brand new truck when it rolls off the line that are going to be needed to make the truck operate. There's a maintenance package.
Council President, let me answer it this way. The FEMA grant covers the purchase of this brand new ladder truck. By the time we take delivery of this truck, it will have the city logos on it. You can turn it up, start it, and drive it. I'll probably be the first person to drive it. No problem. It will be a functional truck when we get it. I hope that answers your question. I wasn't sure about the whole maintenance thing, but we will get a truck that's operational, fully functional as an East Cleveland ECFD truck.
Does that help, Mr. Severa?
Yeah, it'll do. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else out there with questions? Hearing none. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I would like to speak. Madam President, you are doing a good job moving the city forward. And I know that this truck is very needed into our city. And I am so happy that you had this meeting and this came up. This is a good one right here. So we need to move the city forward. So we definitely need to meet the deadlines by Thursday. And definitely, if we need to come in here tomorrow, I will be here.
Councilwoman Gotti, do you want to tell them about your meeting on Thursday at 6:30?
And we're gonna have 85% spending if we don't get this passed. And
Council
we
President,
definitely need
if I could have some closing remarks, that would be great.
Go ahead, Mayor King.
Thank you, Council President. So I thank the Council Vice President for her enthusiasm and understanding the need to get this done, as well as a couple of the other councilors. I would encourage council as a whole to please not wait till the last day of the year. Anything can happen. Last day of the year, snowstorm, Zoom's not working. Somebody is, unable to even make the Zoom meeting. Anything could happen. Council, people's lives are at stake here. I would ask that you not wait until the last day of the year to pass the appropriations. Give this city that comfort in knowing that it can keep operating beyond the first of the year in well enough time to fix any hiccups before we get there. If you look to do this the last day of the year and something happens and you don't get it done, then how do we explain it to the people we were sworn to serve? That concludes my remarks, unless there's any questions or concerns. Thank you for that, Council President.
Madam Finance Director, can I say a couple of things?
Mr. Martin, you done dominated the meeting. Now, come on. Let somebody else talk.
Madam
You done
President.
dominated the majority of the meeting.
Yeah, but I came to the meeting
Yeah, but
to be supportive. So you're not gonna let your colleagues speak a couple
Mr.
of
Martin,
minutes?
you got 2 minutes, Mr. Martin.
Thank you. I want to say that from a health and safety standpoint, we definitely support the truck. And I agree with my colleague Juanita Gowdy that I'll come in on a Sunday for us to get this done. Let us not wait till the last minute. Let's do what we need to do. I took some special time and canceled something so I could hear this because I want us to get this done so we can move into 2021 and keep moving forward. I appreciate being a part of this, and I think it's very important that we work together. Thank you very much. That's all I have to say, Madam Finance Director. Madam Chairman of Finance Committee. Thank you. That's it.
Can I,
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair of Finance?
Go
can I
ahead,
have
Mr.
a little remark? Thank you. As we kind of get ready for closing out this tumultuous year of 2020, I ask that we take a look at what we can do better in order to have a more unified front. And I join forces, if you will, with my teammates, Councilwoman Gowdy, as well as Councilor Nathaniel Martin, in encouraging the team to go forward in a way that would help accomplish the city's business in a more timely manner. So again, I do appreciate the cooperation to this point. Looking forward to a new year of much more cooperation.
Lord.
Take care.
Okay, everybody has spoken. Is everybody happy? Y'all got all your words out tonight?
Well, with Nick digging up with his nose.
Miss Gowdy, look. Okay, can I have a motion with everybody's consent to adjourn?
I move that this meeting be adjourned.
I second it. All in favor? Aye.
Council President, one last thing for everybody that's still here. There is a contracts and property committee meeting on Thursday at 6:30. There are 3 or 4 pieces of legislation in that committee that will also be discussed.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hello, everyone.